Bashar.
And to you, good day.
And how are you today?
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you, Bashar. I have 3 topics or questions.
Yay.
And the first one is about restarting green, meaning we've had our economies and global social interactions slowed on our planet temporarily.
Yes.
And when we get back up to speed or increase our speed again, I would love to see things move towards green utopia. We've talked about that a little bit before. And I'm wondering if you can expand on how we might head in a greener direction for a happy, healthy green planet for all beings.
Well, it will require the activities and behaviors that are known as restoration of the planet. This is something, obviously, that each individual has to decide for themselves to become engaged and involved in order to create the restoration that will bring back the ecological systems that will allow for more balance upon your world. So it's simply a matter of making the choice to become more engaged physically in these activities.
I love that the current environment has provided demonstrations of how that can happen with the clean air and everything that we've had. And thank you so much for
it. Can, and you can also understand that a part of the reason why the situation is happening the way it is because certain ecological systems have been destroyed.
Yes, yes. And so I'm very much appreciating all of that's been pointed out to us with that. Yes. And I guess I'm going to bring this topic up next, and that is the seeing of the positive side in the midst of this. I know that I've been very fortunate to be in the positive side, and I think this has to do with why maybe we are coming together here in this eye of the needle conversation. Yes. And I have written on my whiteboard over there, seeing the positive side, positive goggles, game on. And I would like to be able to share or have us share that it's okay to feel good regardless of what the circumstance looks like.
Well, of course, and that's what we have always said to you. Regardless of the circumstance, remain in a positive state. Otherwise, you cannot receive the benefit from what's going on. One of the positive ways of looking, for example, at the sequestering and isolation and social distancing is to look at it from a kind of monastic point of view, where you have sequestered yourself in a way where you have the opportunity to spend time investigating your inner world and letting go of those belief systems and cleaning house of those things that no longer serve you, so that when you pass through the eye of the needle, it will be more effortless and you will come out of the other side in a more accelerated and streamlined way. So, of course, take advantage in any way you can that is positive of whatever circumstances are going on. Otherwise, you cannot experience the benefit of such.
Yes, thank you. And I'm really enjoying that, and I'm really having a fun time holding that place of being happy and joyful regardless.
Yes.
And staying in that place. And I love the idea of those of us, and I think there are probably many that are on the leading edge of that, and that helps everybody so much, those that are wanting to reach towards feeling good. And so I just wanted to share that.
All right, but it is as simple as making a decision and making a choice. That's all it is.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. And then the other question I have, it's very pointed to the circumstance of now here on this planet. And I'm curious, what is the purpose of viruses?
Well, there are many. But again, it is showing you as a balancing mechanism when your world is out of balance, for one thing. It forces you to go into a state of withdrawal, of internal investigation. It shows you when you have destroyed the barriers that keep them in place when the world is balanced. It is an indication of imbalance in your society, in your world, for one thing. It's not the only thing, but right now, that's the main thing that it's showing you. The fact that it is engaging all of you to the degree that it is shows you that you have created an imbalance in your world to this degree where every single individual is affected. And you have to come together as different individuals in a unified way to create a restoration of the balance and the energy, not only through energy and consciousness, but through the physical behaviors and actions that you decide to take.
So that would be true for pointing out the imbalance or the contrast, whether it's for society or individuals. I really
Yes, of
like
course.
that explanation.
Yes. Does that serve you?
Yes, it does. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Okay, I just have a few questions, and
Yes.
first wanted to share with you about what I'm really excited about.
Yes.
So I've been working with this teacher who is all about energy development, and he's created this whole perspective and understanding in not only how to develop certain energy structures, but also to actually give you access to developing it on your own.
All right. So that is your permission slip of choice at the moment.
Yes. So I am just, like I said, very excited, so grateful for this time. And then the only thing that I kind of grapple with sometimes is like, you know how sometimes I feel like, am I being selfish or self-absorbed just to be in my own world, just being so happy while collectively it may not be so for everybody?
Well, are you doing anything about applying what you're learning in the outer world through your behaviors, your actions, your choices? Other than just absorbing information, are you applying any of the information outwardly in any way, shape, or form that might allow you to act as a living example that other people can see, so that perhaps they know that there might be other options they can choose for themselves as well? Yes or no?
So I'm applying it and I'm sharing it with the people that I live with, but I'm not really going out and telling everybody.
Well, I'm not saying you have to actually specifically tell them about that permission slip, although that's one way. What I'm saying is it built into your behavior to follow your joy in following the formula without insistence or assumption and remaining in a positive state, so that whatever it is you are doing by acting on your joy simply becomes evident to other people, so that they can see in you a living example that they can make those kinds of positive choices for themselves as well.
Yes.
All right. Then what else do you need to do? What else can you do?
I mean, I guess it's always like, am I supposed to be providing something for the community or, the collective in some way?
Does it excite you to do that?
Not always, no. Sometimes.
Are there some ways in which it excites you to do that?
Yes.
Then those are the things to do.
Okay.
And that will be sufficient. And always remember that no matter what you share and no matter which way you share it, no matter what kind of an example you are, that there might be other opportunities and options for people to choose. What they choose to do with that information or that observation is absolutely none of your business. And that's always as far as you can help anyway.
Okay,
Does that take a weight off your shoulders?
It does.
All right.
Okay.
Just be yourself as best you can. Do the things that give you joy, and you will be a living example to others, whether you know it or not.
Thanks, Bashar. So then that's, like I said, it takes the weight off my shoulders. But then I guess my other question is like,
yes,
how there could be multiple realities happening at once?
Well, there are.
There are, right? So at the end of the day, though, yes. Is there such thing as like an inherent truth, or is it really just like multiple realities that you choose to align with or not?
The inherent truth is that all truths are true when you believe them to be. That's the truth. What we give you as the 5 laws is a basic description of the structure of existence, and those never change. If you want to call that an inherent underlying truth, you can. You exist. There's nothing you can do to change that. You can change your form, but you can't cease to exist. That's your natural state. That's your natural quality, is existence. Everything is here and now. There's nothing you can do to change that. The one is the all are the one. There's nothing you can do to change that. What you put out is what you get back. There's nothing you can do to change that. Everything changes, and there's nothing you can do to change that. The only things that don't change are the laws. That's a description of the structure of existence. So if you want to call that an underlying, fundamental, foundational template truth, you can. But everything else is your variation, your perspective, and your experience of that underlying structure. The underlying structure never changes. What changes is your perspective and experience of it, and that's how creation expands, is your unique perspective and experience of the structure that never changes. Your relationship to it and your expression of it is what expands creation.
Got it. So, okay.
Does that make sense to you?
It does make sense. So then it's like, you know how like there could be multiple perspectives or explanations about even what's happening right now?
That's what I just said.
Yeah.
Everything is a neutral experience, a neutral set of props that can serve double duty. You can get a completely different experience out of the very same circumstance than someone else is getting because of what you put into it and what perspective you have and what relationship you have to it. That's why the fourth part of the formula is so crucial. Remain in a positive state no matter what's happening, and you will always get the benefit, no matter how it looks, no matter how it was created, no matter what anyone else's opinion or experience is of it. You will get the effect based on the vibrational state you choose to be in relation to it. What you put out is what you get back. It's not built into the experience. It's not built into the prop. The circumstance doesn't have built-in meaning. It's just a situation. It's just a neutral set of props. The way you experience it is utterly determined by the vibrational state that you choose to experience it from.
Got it.
Anything else?
Then my other question is this year going to get, like, is this just the beginning of the storm? Is it, like, are you allowed to tell us, is it going to get...
Right now, you are passing through what we have called the eye of the needle. And as long as you have been experiencing this for the last 3 to 3.5 months, you will continue to experience on the other side of this needle another 3 to 3.5 months. Things can accelerate after that. Things might get more chaotic here and there in different ways, but it all determines by what you take through the eye of the needle with you. The eye of the needle as a concentrated and collapsed passageway prevents you from bringing through things that are completely irrelevant for you. And if you use it that way and strip away all the fear-based beliefs and leave them behind on this side of the passage, then you will move through the eye of the needle in a more effortless way and come out the other side in a more accelerated, more positive way that will allow you to experience acceleration from that point forward. Other people may experience a deceleration if they are resistant to letting go of those things that anchor them to the past instead of letting the future self guide them through the eye.
Awesome. I do have been experiencing that for sure.
All right.
Awesome. Okay, one last question.
Yes.
Bashar, do you know what is happening like energetically when somebody is quote unquote empathic? And is there...
They are matching a frequency of another and operating on a similar wavelength so that they're having the same thoughts and feelings at the same time. You never read anyone else's mind. You never read anyone else's energy per se in the way that you classically mean that. But you are having your own thoughts and own feelings that are mirroring what someone else is doing because you're operating on a similar wavelength and therefore having a similar experience. Therefore, you know what they're feeling and know what they're thinking because that's what you're thinking and feeling too by operating in the same vibrational frequency. So it's mirroring like tuning fork.
Mirroring, right? But Bashar, I noticed with me, like sometimes I'll be tuning into somebody else and matching their vibration, and then it's almost like I take it on and I can't shake back to my normal.
That's a belief system.
It's a belief system? Okay.
Totally.
So just like, I just have to
change your belief about what it is you're able to do when you mirror those things. Get what you need out of it, and then realize that you can still go into whatever state you need to be in to utilize the information you've learned in a way that works for you. You don't have to stay in a state that doesn't work for you, that may work for them.
Got it.
All right?
Bashar, this is one of my favorite things is to interact with you. So thank you so much.
It is also one of our favorite things to interact with all of you, which is why we do it. So thank you for the co-creation, our unconditional love to you all.
Thank you. Bye.
Hello, Bashar. Thank you for your presence today.
It is our passion and our pleasure as always.
Thank you. The last 3 months for me, it's as if I have arrived at a new train station.
Yes.
And the train station, as you have put, has been going in different directions. But this particular train station seems very chaotic, lots of trains, a lot more intensity.
Yes.
And on some trains, I see going down on the low end, human suffering and food shortages and things like this.
You are being very perceptive, and this is why this is a companion piece to the transmission called The Eye of the Storm,
Yes.
in which we invited you all to stay calm in the center, because what's happening now is you are at the train station called the Eye of the Needle. And this is a very narrow passage that many of you are now going to pass through, but the only way to do it effortlessly is to strip yourselves of more and more of the negative and fear-based belief systems so that when you emerge on the other side of this passage, you can accelerate more towards the idea of the reality you prefer. But on the other side, many people may decelerate and not go toward the reality that would necessarily be the one representative of the highest joy. So this is an extremely crucial pivot point in this passage through the Eye of the Needle that will determine many things you will experience on the other side of this eye. So you are perceptive in understanding the chaos that surrounds this particular pivot point at this time and how crucial and important that it is.
Over the last 3 months, I've had many, many miracles that I could not have even imagined.
Yes.
Particularly around financial things happening.
All right.
That have uplifted me and prepared me for this time of a financial downturn in the economy. As a matter of fact, some things have happened where even now I'm still, my business is still going fine.
All right.
To my surprise.
Well, don't be too surprised because, again, you have been willing to relax somewhat the idea of your definitions of abundance so that you can allow all forms of it or more forms of it to work for you rather than just the monetary representation. This will always be the purpose of the idea of sequestering yourselves in this way at this time through the isolation and social distancing is to go more deeply within so that you can divest yourself of the things that don't work for you so you can move forward in a more accelerated and effortless way. That's what this is all for. So congratulations on riding that particular frequency wave.
Thank you. I still, and even in the face of huge miracles for me,
yes,
I still have anxiety and doubt and
Why?
fear.
Why?
Well, I was examining this, and I noticed that one condition that I usually set up my magic to work is I have to put myself in a position of need. I can't be in a position of preference or want.
But need is not desperation. Need is simply an alignment with the basic needs of life, as we have discussed. It's not about the wants. It is about the needs, but don't translate or define need as desperation, not as needy. It's basic need, and that's fine. That's an acceptant, open state of being willing to receive what you need. Watch your definition. It is more important now than ever before to be precise about your definitions of those terminologies. Need is not neediness.
Yes.
Need is open to receiving the basic needs of life, which if you receive them, will fulfill you.
Okay.
Yes?
Yes.
All right.
And I can see from what you just told me also that part of my misbelief, if you would put it that way, I project onto situations that aren't life and death. but I perceive them as such, so it creates a sense of anxiety.
Yes, well, you will always perceive them that way if you're coming from the desperation side of neediness, rather than the understanding of what basic needs are, simply as the fulfillment of everything that is relevant for you in life.
Yes.
And that's all there is to it.
A few times I've made a conscious choice of setting aside that desperation.
All right.
And it's been fine. It turned out fine.
Exactly. So why not continue to allow it to? You have to deal with the belief within you that, oh, this is too good to be true. It can't possibly continue.
Right.
Of course it can, because it's not continuing. It's only existing in the now. Therefore, it's not about having to wonder or worry whether it will continue. That's a space-time perspective. If you're always in the now, it will always be here, because it exists in the now just like you do. It doesn't have to be a situation of experiencing continuation in the way that you mean it, because you're also giving that a negative edge. Things that have to continue might not be able to continue.
Right.
Therefore, you're struggling with this paradoxical conundrum based on the idea that your perspective is one about having to continue, instead of simply everything that I need is here and now, where I am. So no continuance per se is required in the way you've been structuring it. Of course, you will experience it in the next moment that you create, in the next and the next and the next, because you're always in the now moment, but just from a different point of view. And that pervades, that ability and what you need pervades all the points of view of the now moment. And that's what appears to be continuance from a space-time continuity perspective, but don't focus on the idea of the continuance. It's simply focusing in the now so that you can see and feel and experience the pervasiveness of what you need in the now. Just let time and space take care of itself in terms of creating the illusion of continuance.
What about the guilt that I feel sometimes when I see outside of myself, friends, or even the larger world suffering, yet I'm doing well? So
you don't deserve it, I guess. In your own mind.
I guess.
You just can't believe that little old you actually deserves to have this experience. But don't you understand that by allowing yourself to have this experience, then in the actions you take, you become a living example so that other people can see in you an option that they might then realize is available to them too? If you're guilty about it, you don't shine. And if you don't shine, others can't see that what it is you're giving off might actually be possible for them. You become a dark hole that they see no respite from. So if you refuse to shine because you believe you don't deserve it, then you're not giving other people the opportunity to see in you as an example that they could choose to shine too. Does that help?
It does. It's resonance and reflective.
Yes. Yes. So being guilty means, well, I guess I shouldn't shine, and therefore I'm taking away from others the ability to know that shining is possible. That, if you're going to regret anything or feel guilty about anything, which I'm not saying you have to, that would be the thing to be guilty about, is not shining. Yeah. Therefore, the paradox is that to be guilty creates the situation you actually should be guilty about.
Yes.
Not shining. So don't be guilty so you can shine. And if you shine, you'll have nothing to be guilty about, because you will be serving others by shining and letting them know there's another option other than what they have already been experiencing, which is the lack of their own shining. Yes.
And I won't have reflected back to me a sense of jealousy or...
You might. I'm not saying that those people may not project their own issues upon you, but again, remember, What difference does it make what they do? Because you're not basing your state on any outside conditions, are you?
No.
Thank you. So who cares if some people are jealous or project negative ideas upon you? That's their issue. And by being in the state that you need to be in, you will recognize that it's their issue and not yours. Unless, of course, you feel like being convinced that it's your issue. But you're the one creating that state then for yourself again, by being convinced that they're right about you. Oh yeah, you should be guilty about this. Oh yeah. Why? Make sense?
Makes sense, yes.
All right. Does that help?
That helps tremendously. Thank you.
Anything else?
Regarding the COVID virus, when we hear reports that X amount of cases are reported, can you tell me how many actual, like if one is reported, is it actually like 3 or 4 that actually have it in general?
It can be as high as a factor of 10 times what is reported.
Okay. Thank you so much, Bashar.
It is, once again, our deepest passion and pleasure to interact with each and every one and all of you. We thank you for the co-creation, our unconditional love to you all. Good day.
Good day.